say that justice delayed is justice denied. However, sometimes it's difficult for justice to be served when the relationship between the public and the justice system is not a good one. The public are afraid of reporting their cases to the police in fear of being arrested, among other challenges that the justice sector may face when it comes to relationship with the public. That is why the Court Users Committee, in partnership with Mwendo Organization and other stakeholders, held a 2-day meeting at the Golf Hotel Kakamega, where they want to achieve a common ground between the public and the justice sector. They came up with a plan to ensure that the rapport between the justice sector and the public is a good one, so that they can ensure 100% service of justice to the public.
We've been here trying to sensitize or build the capacity of Kakamega County Court Users Committee members and also Kakamega Law Court Court Users Committee members on the Court Users Committee model and how the concept works to promote access to justice within the larger Kakamega area. The concept is a new concept which has taken a new dimension with the arrival of the new constitution, where Article 159 says that judicial authority is derived from the people. And so that's why you get now the Court Users Committee providing a space where agencies that work with the law and order and also community people and also stakeholders meet under a roof and discuss issues that pertain to justice in those areas, so that they can come up with the strategies to promote access to justice.
In fulfilling its constitutional mission as a co-equal arm of government, the judiciary has embarked on the implementation of its transformation framework, a document that aims to provide general principles and goals to be pursued and the methods of undertaking institutional transformation. CuCs provide an avenue to address matters in the administration of justice while enhancing public participation and stakeholder engagement, developing public understanding of court operations, promoting effective justice sector partnerships, and advancing the application of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms.
And so when we talk about Court Users Committees, the membership are drawn from the various agencies that work around access to justice or administration of justice. We'll have the police, the probation department, the prison, the leadership of the postal institutions, the probation department, the children department, and also other agencies that also work around administration of justice. For example, you'd get the Witness Protection Agency also being members of the Court Users Committee, because they work around witness protection, which is also one of the things that Court Users Committees look at. So the membership to those Court Users Committees are very unique. For example, you might find a place like Kakamega, which has a forest, having Kenya Forestry Department people as members of the Court Users Committee, because there might be issues around forest that come to the attention of the Court Users Committee of Kakamega.
CuCs have now been established in almost all court stations countrywide, and they are required to do outreach activities such as visiting prisons and assessing the situations in the prisons and figuring out ways on how to improve conditions in these facilities.
The other thing is that these committees are also required to do outreach meetings or outreach activities, and these include also open days. The members are required every quarter to organize outreach activities to say, go visit a prison and see the status there and document and see how best to improve conditions in those prisons. they could perhaps go visit their children's home and ascertain the conditions there, and perhaps make recommendations on how best to make those places better places for holding children. You'll find the court users committees work with even civil society to try and improve justice in those in those areas where that specific court users committee operate. So in this particular court users committee, now we have Mwendo partnering with the court users committee to try and strengthen it so that it's able to respond to some of the justice needs in this area.
Court users committees consist of members not less than 13 and not more than 35. They meet at least once every 3 months, and a report is sent to NCAJ. They are funded by the judiciary, but they are at liberty to source or receive grants and resources from donors and stakeholders, provided that Chapter 6 of the Constitution is upheld and there is no conflict of interest.
The steering committee of CuCs are mandated to also source for funds, but most importantly is that as they source for these funds, they should not encourage getting funds from parties who may be interested in the outcomes of some of the operations of the courts where these court users committees operate. And that's how you see Mwendo is coming in to support the training of court users committees in Kakamega.
Peter Onyango, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, says the main objective of the Court Users Committee is to ensure access to justice by members of the public.
The Court Users idea is a good idea, and its main objective is to ensure there is access to justice by the members of the public, and to ensure that justice is actually served and achieved. And as you know, that Court Users Committee brings people from different areas. Yes, so these people, when they come together, they must be people who are ready to achieve a common goal. So that is one area, training one. The other area we train them on is resources, how they identify resources which are there, apart from the money that comes from the national government. The donor funding, the law allows them to go for donor funding. The human resources that are there within their particular region where they are. Court Users Committees are devolved, as you've been told, you see. So we look at all these resources, the materials which are available. Then how do they put these resources into use? The accountability aspect is also very important. You see, the account, keeping of books, and who takes care of what and who spends what, that one is very important. And we also taking them through resource mobilization. How do they mobilize for funds? How opportunities, was actually training the opportunities which are available, and what the law empowers them to do when it comes to resource mobilization. Then there's another important, how do they relate externally to their partners, to the community members that they are serving? How do they relate to them? How do they do publicity? How do they come out so that people get to know that they are there? Because court users brought up so that the court would seem to be a friendly, to create a friendly environment for people to access courts. They can have their dispute resolved. The group, of course, came up with ideas and all that, and shared the challenges, and many challenges, of course, including the issues of resources. You see, money they get sometimes not enough, because sometimes, you know, this is money that comes, the government money, but sometimes it's not enough, or at times it's not even there, yet they are expected to perform some functions. And sometimes maybe you can answer another, maybe coordination here and there, at times it is an issue. Then they may also have the problem of, sometimes they face the problem of getting time, you see. You know, these are people drawn from different sectors. You see, having them come and meet and that, they need to sacrifice a lot. So sometimes that becomes a challenge. Yes, but they have been able, we've also got to know that they have come up with very innovative ways. And also during this corona period, the digital platform, how they can use that to disseminate information and how to have meetings through Zoom and all that. In their group presentations, all these things came up so that we are, they'll not stop meeting because of the COVID, but they are able to meet, they are able to go on with their functions and come up with new activities as to enable them to achieve their objective. Yes.
Sylvester Mambili, a member of CuC representing the community, says he attended the workshop in order to build bridges between the community and the judiciary in order to create a peaceful society. He also said they are trying to create a common ground between the traditional practices of communities and judicial processes of attaining justice.
We want to make the CuC interact, to build the bridges between the community and the CuC or the judiciary. It is as if there is a gap. There is a very big gap between hata watu wa koti. Kutoka kwetu huko nyumbani kwa risafu, huwezi kuchukua mtu akuja tu hata kusikiliza kesi ya mtu kotini. They fear. Wanaogopa polisi, wanaogopa askari, na wanaogopa tu kitu inaitwa koti. Ile gap inafanya watu understand koti ni nini na ni nini inaendelea. So inakuanga very hard. Aswa Kakamega, sijui mahali pengine, mimi nasema kwa sababu niko Kakamega. It is very difficult for the magistrate or the judge or wale watu wanafanya kazi kotini to decide on, to make a decision kwa maneno ya kesi, kwa sababu washahidi hawakuja wanaogopa. One, the people who are different, who have the dispute, are relatives of the witnesses. Two, the people who are complaining or wale wanazozana, mashahidi wananunuliwa huko nyumbani au wanakuwa threatened. So it is very difficult for the court personnel, magistrate or judges to make a decision. Two, why we have come, it is good that we have come now. The community is represented in the court justice committee. We want to go to the communities. We are setting up a program to go to the communities so that we sensitize, we educate the community members how we want to relate with the people of the courts or the police or the prison. We want to bring them together so that we harmonize the relationship between mtu wa nyumbani na mtu wa kotini, mtu wa jela, mtu wa polisi and so on. One, ninaweza kuwa nimeua mtu. I cannot stay in the community. It is good for the courts to be there, ili huyu mtu achukuliwe kutoka kwa community akuje mahali atakuwa safe. Hao watu tempers zao zirudi chini. Two, anaweza letwa hapa kwa sababu also it is safe for that person. Akiwa nyumbani, the relatives of the offended person wanaweza kuja kuattack huyu mtu, wampige bila alipika yule mwingine au waue bila yule mwingine huyo. Now it will be between now the clans. Klani na klani wameanza vita. Like now in our community, say in Kakamega County, many cases, this is the cases are mashamba dispute, land dispute. Inaweza kuwa tu a small thing, land dispute, pengine ni boundary, ni kutoka tu hapa kwenda hapa. Watu wanaweza kuuza ng'ombe mingi, hata mtu mwingine anauza shamba lingine ili anataka ashinde case afike hapo. Na unajua ameuza ng'ombe au ameuza shamba just because they don't understand vile wanaweza kuishi pamoja. Kama mimi napenda tuende kwa community, tuzungumze na community, tuambie why tunataka tuwe na uhusiano mzuri wenyewe kwa wenyewe na koti na polisi na forest department, forest association and so on. So my coming here, tumekuja kutengeneza barabara But as a community leader on CuC, I would want tuwe na pengine bylaws in every clan. Tuwe na bylaw tuseme mtu akifanya namna hii wa community itafanya namna hii. Akiletwa huku kila clan na kila member wa clan anajua fulani wa fulani kweli, hata kama amepelekwa kotini, amepelekwa jela, ni makosa yake. If we succeed in what we are doing, we want to go to the community and we want the leaders, the local people to be responsible in harmonizing the communities and the wrongdoers. If they are supposed to be, say, somebody has murdered somebody, let this person sell the land that belongs to him, anaenda kununua shamba mahali pengine, kuliko kusema hii family waliua mtu yetu. Tukipata huyu, unakumbuka vile walikatakata msichana hapa Sengene, the community ile msichana alitoka, walienda wakachoma nyumba za hao watu wote wale walikuwa wameua huyo msichana. Is that healthy? Good users committee wants to bring peace and harmony relationship between the community, the police, the remand, the prison, and the courts. These days if you go to courts, unapata magistrate au judge anakusalimia. And watu wengi wako hapo, unasema asante mzuri. Wale wako hapo wanasema judge amefanya nini? Amekula hongo sayati, hadi unaona anamsalimia. I'm asking the community, we go back and start training our children how to live. The most important and worst thing ni watu, wewe kesi ya mtu amepata mtoto yake anafanya makosa, amchape. Unachukua huyo mtu unapeleka kotini. Na mtoto yake alikuwa na makosa. Alikuwa na mscare ili kesho asionekane akifanya makosa. No. Let us accept that the children are the community children. So also watu wetu wameingia kwa njia nyingine ile ya wazungu. Mtoto yake akifanya makosa anamtifia. Mtoto yake akifanya makosa awe corrected na community member, anaanza kuataka yule community member. So hata mimi nikiona wewe unafanya makosa, mimi nanyamaza, because I don't want to have proper quarrel with your father or your mother.
For Kakamega Court Users Committees, the sky is the limit in administration of justice. The members have been able to form various task forces by partnering with organizations such as Mwendo to deal with vices such as gender-based violence in the area. The members of the public are well represented in court users committees by religious leaders, community representatives, and mediators. Contrary to the public view of the judiciary as an isolated body, court users committees are changing that perception and bridging the gap between the judiciary and the public. Court users committees remain the best avenues for improving public participation in the judicial sector and speeding the wheels of justice. They came up with a plan to ensure that the rapport between the justice sector and the public is a good one, so that they can ensure 100% service of justice to the public. Reporting for MKTV, I am Kezia Kibika.